I'm Carol Beldine, Chair of President Circle. Since we are unable to meet in person, we're enjoying the opportunity to create some fun new traditions as a result of COVID. 2020 stands out as a time of unprecedented challenges for College of the Desert. President Circle membership supports the Student Emergency Fund, which was established to help students succeed. It has distributed in excess of $210,000 to those who are in need of essential services such as groceries, gas, medical expenses, tuition, childcare, internet access, transportation, and rent. 220 students have been served thus far. We have updated our levels of membership starting at $1,000 up to $25,000 or more. The website outlines in detail the opportunities for you. Just go to www.codfoundation.org for further information on how you can make an impact on COD students. To start the evening off, let's play COD trivia. I'd like to introduce our new development director, Matt Durkin. Matt?
Thanks, Carol. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will read 3 COD trivia questions throughout this evening's presentation. If you know the answer to the question, please go to the chat icon located at the bottom middle of your screen. Click on it and send in your reply. I'll read the answers and announce the winners at the end of the presentation. The first correct reply will receive a gift certificate from Brandini Toffee. Okay, here we go. In October of 1962, 166 students cast their vote for the COD colors, scarlet and gold. What colors were the runners-up? Okay, go to your chat icon and send in your answer. Good luck, everyone. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you, Matt.
That's a good idea.
Jason Suss is a professional mixologist who will prepare a cocktail and a mocktail tonight using Dr. Kinnaman's favorite vodka. Jason, how did you become a bartender?
Hi, Carol. Great to be here. So it's kind of a fun story, but the first thing we're going to do, if you were following along with me, is I need everybody to take a jar, any kind of jar you want, take the lid off, grab a tea bag. I'm going to use my favorite peach tea this evening. Go ahead and put your tea bag in the jar. You're going to add 4 ounces, 120 milliliters for our metric friends, of Dr. Kinnaman's favorite Grey Goose vodka right into that jar. So that's 2 ounces and then another 2 ounces. It's enough for 2 drinks because, I mean, let's be honest, it's the afternoon. We might as well have a couple, right? So now that we have the tea bag in the jar, we're just going to put the top on. Give it a little swirl. We want that to steep for a couple of minutes, so I wanted to get it done first. And now I'll tell you the story. So fun fact, right out of college, my first job was as a high school math teacher at Palm Springs High School. I taught 9th and 11th grade algebra. It was great, and I'm sure a number of my students went on to College of the Desert, and I'm sure on to great success after that. However, to get into the bartending world, I had moved to Minneapolis. I worked in the high-tech world as a solution engineer for a software company for the last 14 years. And then 7 years ago, they had an iron bartender competition here in Minneapolis. And I went and I watched, and the restaurant that won, I visited the following week and said, you know what? I love these fancy cocktails. I think they're really neat. I'd love to learn more about it. And they happened to have an open position as a barback, and they hired me on the spot to work Thursday nights, pouring water, taking out recyclables, all the fun stuff that barbacks get to do. And eventually, a couple months later, I started bartending, and then a neighbor asked me to make him a couple drinks for a party, and someone at that party hired me for their party, and the next thing you know, I have a bartending company, which I've now moved into full-time since March. So it's been a blast, and anyway, that's how I got into bartending. So tonight, we're gonna make a cocktail called, affectionately, the Kinnaman, and it's a drink I like to make. It's very easy, it's really tasty, very versatile. We're going to infuse this tea into a vodka, or if you want to make a non-alcoholic version of this, just use hot water, the same way you would if you were making tea. We're going to let that steep for a couple of minutes. We can already see it starting to take on some of the color from the tea, which is what we're looking for. Hot water or alcohol will both extract flavors from things like tea and spices and herbs. So we're gonna get a really nice flavored vodka out of this. If you have a cocktail shaker, that's great. Go ahead and grab it. I like to use this 3-piece. It's nice if you're making just one drink at home. Take the little cap off. Don't let it get away from you. Those are easy to lose. And then the big cap. And we're gonna start building our drink right here in the shaker. First thing we're gonna add is lemon. I can't stress enough how fresh lemon juice always makes a drink taste better. Those little plastic bottles at the grocery store are fine, but they're not as fresh. And being in Southern California, where you have access to such great citrus fruit, maybe you can pick one off the tree in your front yard, grab a lemon. Now we're gonna take the lemon, put it on the cutting board so that the stem end is at one side and the little nub is at the other. So it's going this way. Measure about halfway, don't cut yet. And then like 1/4 of an inch one way or the other. So we're gonna go just a little farther. And then just a slice straight down. Make sure you have a really sharp knife, it helps. You should have 2 halves that look like this. One's larger, one's smaller. Take the larger half. And now we're just gonna cut what we call a lemon wheel. So we're gonna cut just straight down. So we have a nice, even lemon wheel. Hang on to that, we're gonna use that as a garnish. Now we're gonna take this lemon. If you have a squeezer, great, put it in the squeezer. If you have the kind that's the reamer, use that, or just give it the old Incredible Hulk and just give it a squeeze right into the shaker. A typical lemon gives you about a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and that's what we're looking for in this drink. So I can just tell by looking at it, we got a 1/2 ounce of juice in there. That's perfect. The next thing we're gonna add is some honey syrup. Now honey, if you try to put it into a drink, if it's cold, it's too viscous and it's just gonna kind of seize up and get really thick and not integrate well with the rest of the ingredients. So what I do is I cut it with an equal amount of hot water. So if I put in 1 ounce of honey, I'll put in 1 ounce of hot water. And you can see how that's nice and thin now. We're still gonna get the sweetness and that honey flavor, but we're gonna make it thinner so it integrates into the drink. I'm gonna measure a 1/2 ounce of that right into the drink, right into the cocktail shaker here. If you like your drinks a little on the sweeter side, go ahead and add more. No one's looking. So a 1/2 ounce of that honey syrup right into the cocktail shaker. So we have our lemon juice, we have our honey syrup in the cocktail shaker. We have our tea that's been steeping. I usually like to leave this for a few minutes, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending how strong it's gonna be. This is probably good for now. We'll take the top off. And the first thing you should notice is it should really smell nice. It smells really peachy for me, which is what I want. So I'll take the tea bag out. I'm gonna use my fingers because it's my drink. But if you're making this for someone else, use a spoon or a toothpick. And now we're gonna measure 2 ounces of our tea infused vodka. And this is really versatile. It's shelf stable. You can just hang on to it. It's a great flavored vodka. You can chill it, pour it as a martini. You can take one of your favorite sparkling waters or club sodas and pour a little bit of this in the bottle and you'll have like a hard seltzer, like the really popular hard seltzers you're seeing at the liquor stores now. Or like we're gonna do today, we're gonna mix it into a proper cocktail. So we're gonna add a 1/2 ounce, 2 ounces of the tea infused vodka right into the cocktail shaker. And now we're gonna get our glass ready. So you have a tall Collins or highball style glass. And I think there's gonna be a little more said about that later. We're gonna fill the glass up with ice, and then we're also gonna add some ice to the shaker. I always like to put fresh ice into the glass. It keeps the drink colder, it keeps it fresher tasting, not the ice that's been shaken in the drink. So we'll go ahead and get our ice here. And we're gonna fill up the glass first. Always lots of ice, especially where it's nice and hot in Southern California. And now we're gonna put ice in the shaker. You always wanna make sure there's enough ice in the shaker that it's above the level of the liquid. Perfect. And now we'll put the big cap of our shaker on and then the little cap. If you try to put them both on at once, it doesn't seal as well. And now the part that everybody loves, the shake. So everybody, we're gonna do about an 8-second shake on this to get everything to mix together nicely. Juice and alcohol typically don't like to play together, and that's why we wanna shake it nice and aggressively to get them to come together. Similar like with vinegar and oil in a salad dressing, we want to get them together. So let's go ahead and give it a good shake. Now, what I see a lot of people doing is they'll shake a drink up like that, they'll pour it into the glass, and then they'll top it with soda. And that's fine, but I think there's a better way. If we take the top off the shaker and we add the soda, I just have some club soda, sparkling water here, right into the shaker. And about 3 ounces, you can just eyeball this. More if you like it lighter, less if you like it a little stronger, but about 3 ounces, 1, 2, 3, that's probably good. We pour that into the shaker and then we put the strainer top back on. So when I pour the drink into the glass, it's going to mix together and it'll be nice and consistent the whole way. So we're going to go ahead and just pour the whole thing right into the drink, right into the glass. Look at that. It's like I've done this before. So now remember that lemon wheel that we had? What we're going to do is we're going to just cut a little notch about halfway through the lemon. So just cut halfway. And what that's going to do is gives us a little notch. You can see that at the bottom. We're going to hang that right on the side of the glass. And we have our Kinnaman cocktail. Cheers. Carol, back to you.
Thank you. That was great, Jason. I have just followed your recipe in my favorite highball glass with the COD Foundation logo on it. And every President's Circle member who is with us tonight will receive a pair of these glasses. Cheers. Because of Governor Newsom's new rules, we will deliver your glasses in the new year. Now I'm happy to introduce Bill Chinowitz, President of the Foundation. Thank you for joining us this evening, Bill.
Indeed, my pleasure, Carol, and thank you. We are so thankful to longtime donors, Wayne and Maureen Johnson, who are with us this evening. Wayne and Maureen, what is it about College of the Desert Foundation that keeps you committed to students and the mission of the college?
Thank you, Bill, and thank you to the foundation for the opportunity to share our thoughts with everyone. Maureen and I were able to take advantage of our local community college in our early college education. It's not only important for the students, but also the entire community. Something we feel strongly about is educated people are the future of our country. A democracy requires a well-educated and informed population. Maureen?
Thank you, Wayne. Through the foundation, we feel fortunate that we can now help by making it possible for students to complete their first 2 years of college, and from there, directly enter into the workforce or go on to complete a 4-year college degree. And we are proud to be a part of the foundation and everyone who is helping in this way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maureen and Wayne. We appreciate it very much. Tom Minder recently joined the Executive Foundation Committee as its treasurer. Tom, can you tell us about the pivotal moment that made you decide that College of the Desert was the organization you wanted to support?
Thank you, Bill, and good evening to everybody. And I hope you're all enjoying the cocktail, which I'm not having because I have to speak. I actually am a product of a community college, but it was after 1 year of attending a 4-year college because my father said he was tired of paying for the paid vacation to the country club. And what I learned when I went was it was reading, writing, and arithmetic. But when I went on the tour of COD, I was amazed at the breadth of what is available at this school. I learned best by OJT, on-the-job training. And what I saw at COD was they had a phenomenal nursing program. They had a phenomenal mechanics program. They have arts programs, pretty much everything that you would need to be able to succeed in getting a job or move on to something else. And with the Pledge and the EDGE programs for the people who cannot afford to go to a junior college, they can go for no cost whatsoever. They can get their books paid for. If they have children, they have a daycare center that will feed them out of their own garden. And the bottom line is, I think COD is probably one of the premier institutions in the United States for a 2-year college. And I'm really pleased to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you so
Beautifully
much.
done, beautifully done.
Thank you, Bill, Maureen, Wayne, and Tom for joining us. Well, we promised you some fun, easy, and delicious canapes. Sue is here to show us how to do it. Keep in mind that she is preparing them from her own home kitchen. Sue Rappaport is a chef, a baker, a writer for the Desert Sun, and resides in Rancho Mirage. Sue?
Hi everyone, I'm going to make holiday canapes, which are 1 or 2 bite fancy appetizers. They're delicious, easy to make, and your guests will gobble them up. The shells can be found in your local supermarket in the frozen food section next to the puff pastry and the phyllo dough. Here's what I'll be making today: hummus and roasted red pepper phyllo bites, cranberry and brie bites. Let's get started. Our first recipe is the hummus and roasted red pepper phyllo bites. The first thing you do is bake the shells at 350 degrees for 4 or 5 minutes just to crisp them up. And now to the filling ingredients and assembly. So you start with the shells that are already pre-baked. You're going to add a little bit of hummus to each shell, press it down. I fill mine about 3/4 full. So what you'll do is you'll actually divide the remaining ingredients among the shells that are remaining. I've done 2, you'll have 13 left to do after that. So we're gonna start with the cucumber. I chop it finely, and you can use it with the skin on or off. I use mine with the skin on because I like a little bit of the green color. Next, I'll add the roasted red pepper. You can roast the peppers yourself. I bought mine in a jar, and what I do if it's from the jar, I actually drain it and pat it dry with a paper towel because I don't want it dripping all over and I don't want the shells to get soggy. I use a lot of roasted red pepper because I love the flavor. Next, I'll add feta cheese crumbles. It adds a nice little creaminess and a little pop of white color to the top. It looks nice on the board. Last but not least, we're going to add the parsley to the feta because it's a pretty garnish. It makes your appetizer very festive for the holiday. This is a very healthy appetizer, and I think your guests will enjoy it very much. Our next recipe is for the cranberry brie bites. So we're going to start again with our shells. This recipe, they're not baked ahead of time. You'll take a little piece of brie that you'll put in each little shell, just like that. When I opened the brie, the recipe said to cut off the rind. If you like the rind, you can certainly use it. I prefer mine without the rind. Place the brie in the freezer for 15 to 20 minutes. It'll make it easier to cut into 15 little pieces for your appetizers. Next, you'll want to press down the brie just a little bit with your fingers to make room for the other ingredients. We'll add the cranberry sauce, and I try to get about 2 cranberries, if at all possible, on the brie, so you bite into a nice little tart piece of cranberry. Isn't it pretty already? Now for a little crunch, we'll add some walnuts. We'll put a little bit of walnuts. You'll have plenty for all 15 appetizers. Next, we're going to add a little bit of either coarse salt or finishing salt. Here I have fleur de sel. It's flaky. It'll add a nice balance to the cranberries, which have a little bit of sugar in them. It goes into a 350-degree oven for 6 to 8 minutes or until it's golden brown along the edges of the shell. Let the cranberry brie bites cool for about 3 minutes on the pan and then put them on a serving plate. And now for the garnish, you take a couple fresh rosemary sprigs and place them into the brie. You now have a very fancy appetizer for the holidays. Yum.
Thank you, Sue. That was wonderful. I've tried both of these recipes, and not only are they delicious, they're so easy to make. Now we're ready for another question, trivia question, Matt.
Thanks, Carol. Before I ask the second COD trivia question, I'd like to encourage everyone to go to your chat box and take your best guess at the answer. Who knows, you may win some Brandini toffee. Okay, here we go. What is the name of the student newspaper? Please submit your answer in the chat box window now. Thanks. Now we'll go back to Carol.
It is my honor to introduce you to our next guest. Catherine Abbott is the new Executive Director of the College of the Desert Foundation. Catherine. She's muted.
Kathy, you're muted.
The one thing I promised myself I wasn't going to forget. Hello, everybody. How wonderful it is that we are all here together this evening. And, you know, unfortunately, it is virtually. My name is Catherine Abbott, and I am the new Executive Director of the College of the Desert Foundation. I come to you from Victor Valley College, and I bring with me 14 years of experience in educational advancement. Truly believe that our cause is noble. Supporting students who are working to achieve their educational goals is a privilege, and I am so excited to lead College of the Desert to the future. The President's Circle is a committed group of leaders who step forward each year to support the students and programs of College of the Desert. I'm happy to bring you a few highlights regarding the College of the Desert Foundation as we continue to serve the institution, support student success, and navigate the pandemic. You heard Carol talk about the Student Emergency Fund. What we didn't know at the time when the Board of Directors activated the fund is that it would become an important lifeline for students. I want to take this opportunity to share with you the impact of this fund. Earlier this month, I was contacted by Vice President of Student Services, Jeff Baker, regarding tragic news of one of our students who passed away in late October. Her untimely death left her family devastated, and she is survived by her husband and her 3 children, ages 13, 5, and 2. Vice President Baker spoke to her husband, and he expressed they were having difficulties covering her funeral expenses. Vice President Baker simply asked the foundation how we as a college can assist her family with the funeral arrangements. The Student Emergency Fund was the answer, and funds were sent within days. I just want to highlight the impact of your contributions towards President's Circle. Shifting gears, many of you are familiar with the Stepping Out for College of the Desert annual gala. Sadly, the committee made the tough decision at the end of March to cancel the 2020 event to ensure our guests stayed safe and free from the virus. Although the event wasn't held, we still raised close to $300,000. Knowing the campus will be closed during spring 2021, Stepping Out for College of the Desert is once again canceled. This is our biggest fundraiser of the year, where we use proceeds from the event to support Edge Pledge. Pledge guarantees high school students 2 years of free tuition. We are excited to tell you, though, that Pledge produces results. Since 2017, nearly 6,000 students have successfully completed Pledge, and 75% of whom have gone on to complete their 4-year degree. Many who thought college was never going to be an option. Without our gala, we cannot be as responsive to the needs of College of the Desert students and help provide them with those critical tuition dollars. However, this does not stop our fundraising efforts. Tonight, you are going to be the first in the community to learn about our upcoming annual campaign, Stepping Up for College of the Desert. COVID has certainly presented a multitude of challenges for our students, and your generous investments can literally mean the difference between discouragement and the diploma. Staying enrolled and crossing the finish line involves you as a donor in the important role of helping a student break the cycle of poverty, secure their educational future, and achieve economic prosperity. And Carol, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Catherine. Now it's time for another trivia question, Matt.
Thanks, Carol. Now, for our third question, we're going to go to the COD campus. And the question is, what crops used to be grown on the COD campus? What crops were grown and harvested on the COD campus? If you can name one correctly, you'll get the gift certificate. Back to you, Kathy.
And thank you, Matt. So at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent President, Dr. Joel Kinnaman.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank Ruben Perez and Bonnie Steffen, members of our Board of Trustees, for joining us. Not even a pandemic can get in the way of us spending a happy hour together. And a pandemic could not stop College of the Desert from continuing to serve our students, and it did not stop you all from supporting our students in the pursuit of their educational goals. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and students, thank you for everything that you do.
And thank you, Dr. Kinnaman. Can you talk a little bit about the college's response to COVID?
You know, it's been an adventure for all of us, I know. And but to help mitigate the impacts of the pandemic, the college received $7.5 million in CARES Act funding, of which $3.5 million has been designated to directly support enrolled students. Access to technology is an ongoing concern for our students. Since March, over 200 Chromebooks, 125 hotspots, and 220 webcams were ordered. And students also have access to free Wi-Fi in parking lots at our Palm Springs, our Palm Desert, and our Indio campuses. We will continue to provide the majority of our classes online during the winter and spring semester, with at least 95% of all sections being delivered in an online format. There are programs that have external agency and legal mandates that require us to have face-to-face instruction, and those will be prioritized first, with preference being given to offering all necessary clinical and lab sections for our nursing students.
And now, can you describe for us the importance of donor support during times of uncertainty and how their contributions impact student success?
Certainly, you know, thanks to an outpouring of community support, the foundation has raised over $250,000 for the Student Emergency Fund. The cost of higher education is a significant barrier for many low-income students. And at College of the Desert, we're committed to reducing those financial barriers and increasing the college going rate in Coachella Valley. You know, to further this effort, the College Board of Trustees approved the Community Pledge, which since 2017 has been providing local high school graduates free tuition at College of the Desert. All of this would not be possible without the support of the College of the Desert Board of Trustees and the financial support of the College of the Desert Foundation. Specifically, the Richard Brooke Foundation, who has to date given more than $575,000 to support our students. And we all owe a special thanks to Melinda Drickey for that ongoing support.
And speaking of pledge, I understand that there is a new component to the pledge program. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, it's fun. The new program will offer free tuition to any former, not currently enrolled College of the Desert student who has earned 30 units or more at our college, or 45 units or more from any regionally accredited institution and has not completed their degree goal. These programs are truly making a difference in the lives of our students and of their families.
And even though we're not physically on campus, there is still a lot of work being done on our facilities. Can you tell us about some of those exciting projects?
Certainly. In October 2019, the college adopted a new facilities master plan. The Indio campus project will double the size of the campus, add classrooms, lab and collaboration spaces, and food service, as well as a large outdoor pavilion for college and community events. A new child development center will open approximately at the same time. And in Cathedral City, the college is planning a new automotive and advanced transportation facility. It'll be located near Perez Road and Highway 111, adjacent to the Cathedral City Auto Center. So Roadrunner Motors will serve local demand for skilled auto service workers and will be a direct connection to local businesses.
And how has the pandemic changed the planning of facilities?
Considering the significant impact that the physical environment has on students, faculty, and staff, we are taking steps to ensure future work meets the needs of a post-COVID-19 world. One in which the risk of transmission is minimized through smart design that utilizes the latest technology and the latest strategies. We are working to create a touch-free environment wherever reasonably possible.
Dr. Kinnaman, I know everyone is excited to hear the updates about the new campus in Palm Springs.
I got a big smile on my face when you said that, didn't I?
You did.
This campus is, I don't believe we'll see anything like it in the United States or maybe around the world. It will feature a learning hotel, restaurant, and kitchen, culinary institute, modern instruction space, experiential labs, student commons, flexible event space, and I think most importantly for our community, a high-tech digital accelerator space and classrooms. The new campus will serve as a regional workforce innovation center where students can learn and train for jobs and careers in the areas of digital media, film, hospitality and culinary arts, healthcare, architecture, and sustainability. The permanent campus will accommodate enrollment growth with traditional students and increase training for our local workforce, as well as bring people from around the world for professional development. And in addition, provide public and private partnerships that will be vital to the innovative academic and workforce programming.
And finally, can you share a little bit about your vision for the future of College of the Desert?
It's no secret to you and it's no secret to me that we all believe College of the Desert is a special place. It's a place where everyone is committed to serving our students. It's a place where everybody is committed to our community in Coachella Valley. So as we look forward, I know that with the leadership of the Board of Trustees and the support from the Foundation Board, and all of us here this evening, that we will expand our culture of educational leadership, and that culture has resulted in bold, award-winning initiatives like the Edge and Pledge program. We will also continue to serve as a catalyst with our community partners to address social, and I stress social, and economic issues, including systemic racism and inequalities. We will also be committed to ensure fiscal stability while continuing to provide affordable access to higher education for our residents in the Coachella Valley. And we will celebrate the openings of our new campuses and facilities. And they will be innovative, forward-thinking educational and workforce development programs. By contrasting raising standards and removing barriers, we are truly making a difference in the lives of our students. At this time, I'd like to share a video that illustrates the impact we are having on our students and their families.
I don't know if I'm gonna go to college because I was seeing the prices just for like a semester, and
there's no other way I could afford college.
No, I didn't think college was an option growing up.
So I chose to come to College of the Desert, one, mainly because of the Pledge program.
I found out about the Pledge program through my counselor at Cathedral City High School.
They came over to my high school and they told us about how it's a program to help Coachella resident students to go to college for free. And that sounded like a deal, so I just signed up.
The Pledge program is a way for students to be able to get their tuition paid for.
When we found out that it was going to help us pay for the first 2 years, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I have to do this.
As so many people in the Valley, I come from a low-income household, and the Pledge program made it possible for me and my family to be able to go to college and be able to get a higher education.
Going to school is hard, but it's like you have like family stuff that you have to worry about too.
We were homeless for 4 years.
It was roughly once I started going into high school that family problems began to arise.
I was 1 year old. I was in an accident, and from then on I had struggle moving my hand and my arm. I had to relearn how to walk.
It's like very hard. My freshman year of high school, he did abandon my mother and I. So that was really tough on me.
It was hard for us, and but we did it. And we fought our way through it, and we're going to fight every day because we're not going to let anybody put us down.
Our story is not unique. There are thousands of kids in this Coachella Valley who have the same or exact or worse circumstances than I do. And without the Pledge program, I wouldn't have this opportunity, and these kids wouldn't have the opportunity to go.
Like, you think, how, if this program goes away, will my little sister be able to go to Will she be able to go to college?
So when this came up, I thought, what a great opportunity for your first 2 formative years out of high school to get your feet on the ground. So I thought it was just a wonderful program.
Por esa oportunidad tan grande que le están dando a los jóvenes que puedan ir al colegio.
Thank you for helping me create tomorrow.
Thank you for helping me create tomorrow.
Gracias por hacer a mis hijos su mañana.
Thank you for helping me create tomorrow.
Thank you for helping our daughter to create tomorrow.
Thank you for helping me create tomorrow.
Uh, excuse me. Catherine, would you please share your ambitious plans for the upcoming year that will support our college and our students?
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And I'm so excited to share with you our annual fundraising campaign, Stepping Up for College of the Desert. This $2 million campaign is focusing on supporting 5 of the most high priority programs at College of the Desert. Our first pillar is our Student Emergency Fund, and our goal there is $100,000. The Student Emergency Fund became an important lifeline for students during COVID-19. Many were displaced from their employers, presenting the challenges of paying for school and living expenses. To date, the Foundation Student Emergency Fund has allocated more than $210,000 to 220 students. Knowing that this is an invaluable fund, we are seeking to replenish the fund during the campaign. And in our next pillar or step, it's our workforce development, and our goal there is $150,000. California community colleges are recognized as the solution to building and training the workforce before, during, and after the pandemic. As the College of the Desert continues to grow and expand with 5 new campuses, support will be needed from the community and donors to outfit programs housed in new facilities and support students interested in pursuing careers which require applied learning. Our next step is the Fund for Student Success, and our goal there is lofty. It's $500,000. The Student Success Fund provides the foundation the opportunity to respond to urgent needs on campus. With the largest graduating class in its history and a canceled graduation, College of the Desert Foundation purchased regalia for every student to provide some sense of normalcy for their greatest yet interrupted achievement. This is just one of the many examples of the Student Success Fund and how it supports students, and it's often the most important fund in the foundation. And then finally is Pledge, as you just saw in the video. And our goal there to support students is $1.25 million. College of the Desert students enrolled in Pledge are guaranteed 2 years of free tuition. Another worthy caveat of the award-winning program is that students are required to complete community service hours to demonstrate that they too are invested in their programs and their education. Since 2017, almost 6,000 students have successfully completed Pledge, and many have gone on to complete their undergraduate degrees at four-year universities. Now, you might be asking me, where is that 5th step? Well, it's actually right down at the bottom where it says Fund the Future or Legacy Gifts. This is where the foundation will be working with major donors to ensure that students that are attending College of the Desert well into the future will be supported by your contributions from today. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hand it back.
Okay, thank you very much, Kathy. I guess it's time to go to the answers for the COD trivia questions. And it looks like we have some winners. Question 1, in October of 1962, 166 students cast their vote for the COD colors scarlet and gold. What colors were the runners-up? The correct answer is blue and gold. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have any exact correct answers, but we did have someone who was very close with her answer of purple and gold. So by default, our winner is Diane Rubin. Congratulations, Diane. Okay, going on to question 2. What was the name of the student newspaper? The first, and the answer is The Chaparral. Congratulations to Marge Dodge, who answered that question correctly. Okay, and now for the third question. What 2 kinds of crops used to be grown and harvested on the Palm Desert campus? The correct answer, dates and grapes. And we only had one respondent who answered both correctly. Congratulations to Courtney Doucette for getting that right. Congratulations to all the winners. You'll be receiving your gift certificate to Brandini Toffee in the mail, and enjoy.
Thanks, Matt, and congratulations to the winners. Besides the Student Emergency Fund, your donation supports textbooks, student meal cards, veterans returning from active duty, student scholarships, and the President's Innovation Fund for advancing academic achievement. Your participation will have a lasting impact on the lives of students and the quality of life in the Coachella Valley. There are many exciting things happening on all of the COD campuses. Please help us make a difference in the lives of students to ensure that they grow and thrive. Join President Circle today. I'd like to thank Sue Rappaport, Bill, Jason, the Johnsons, Tom, Kathy, and Joel for your participation tonight. And thanks to each and every one of you for joining us this evening. Happy holidays, stay safe and well, and good night.